Hello, good day. My name is Wilson Gampa. Today I'm going to basically show you DHCP setup on Windows Server 2008. So let's begin. I'm going to go onto my Windows 2008 server. So I'm going to go on Server Manager. I'm going to go on Roles. Click on the drop down. I'm going to click on Roles here. I'm going to click on Add Roles. Right, so I'm going to click Next. I'm going to click DHCP Server. Click on this. Right, so we're basically going to install DHCP Server here. So you're going to click Next. Right, this is basically an additional information if you just want to read up on DHCP Server. So DHCP Server is basically a dynamic host configuration that allows IP addresses to computers and other devices, right? So you can read this basically if you don't have an idea of DHCP and what it does, right? And these servers, these IP addresses are done by enabled to DHCP clients and stuff. So I'm going to click Next. Right, we leave this ticked off. The 1.92.168.0.1 is the IP address for our server. I'm going to click Next again. Right, I'm going to validate this. So remember, this is our parent domain. This is our IP address for it. I'm going to click Next again. Alright, I'm going to leave this as default. Wins is not required for application on this network. I'm going to leave that. I'm going to click Next again. I'm going to go on this. I'm going to click Add. Right, I'm going to access for our scope name. Right, so I'm going to put our scope name now, which is Supra Lab. Right, I'm going to put in my starting IP address, which is 192.168.0.10. Right, I'm going to put my ending IP address, which is 192.168.0.20. Right, I'm going to put in my subnet map 55.255.255.0. I want to put in my difficult gateway, which is my server IP address, which is 192.168.0.1. Right, so I'm going to leave this activate this scope, leave that ticked off. I'm going to click OK. I'm going to leave this as this. Least duration will be 6 days. Wired least duration will be 6 days. Click OK. Right, I'm going to click this. This is basically everything we just did. Default gateway, subnet mask, IP address range. Right, activate scope, yes. Click Next. I'm going to click Disable DHCP v6 stateless mode. Remember, we use v4 in our previous configurations of our IP address. So we're going to leave this disabled because we won't be using this. Then click Next again. Going to leave this as use current credentials. Right, which is supralab/administrator, our username. Remember this. I'm going to click Next again. And this is basically a summary of everything we have just did. Right, IP address, subnet mask, IP address range, wired least duration will be 6 days, and activate scope, yes. Disable authorize using credentials associated with SuperLab administrator. I'm going to click on install. So it's going to take a little while, so I'm going to pause this and I'm going to be right back with you in a little while. Okay, so I'm back now. So let's continue with our configuration here. So as you can see, installation was successful. So I'm going to close up this. I'm going to go on my server manager is still up. So as you can see, DHCP server is up here. Right, so I'm going to minimize this. Now I'm going to go on my client, my Windows 7 client. Right, so I'm going to right click on our network, open network and sharing center. I'm going to click on this. Right, I'm gonna go on my local area connection. I'm gonna right click on this. Okay, I'm gonna click on this, sorry. I'm gonna go on details, basically to show you my settings here before I continue. Right, so my IP address, my subnet mask, my default gateway, my server, and showing you DHCP enable is no. Right, so I'm gonna close this. I'm gonna go on properties. Gonna click on IP protocol version 4. Gonna click properties. Okay, so remember we had clicked properties before, so I'm gonna basically go on this, obtain IP address automatically. Click on this. I'm gonna click on this to obtain DSN server address automatically. I'm gonna leave that there. I'm gonna click OK. I'm gonna click close. Alright, I'm just gonna wait for this a little while for my settings to take place and configurations. Right, I'm gonna go on details now. Right, as you can see, my DHCP has been enabled. Yes, my IP address which is our first range IP address, which is 192.168.0.10. My subnet mask I have set my default gateway, which was 192.168.0.1, and my DHCP server 192.168.0.1, and my IPv4 DSN server 192.168.0.1. Right? That hasn't get IP addresses yet. So I'm gonna close this. I'm gonna close off this. Now I'm going back to my Windows Server 2008. Please do excuse the noise. Okay, so I'm gonna go on my server manager again. I'm gonna go on DHCP now. I'm gonna click on my drop down arrow here. DHCP superfactory.superlab.com. I'm gonna go on this. I drop it down again. I'm gonna go on that. I'm gonna go on my IPv4. I'm gonna go on my scope, drop that down. I'm gonna go on my address leases, and you're gonna see my Windows 7 client, which I have just joined to DHCP, which is kevin-win7pc.superlab.com. Right? Right? Okay, so I'm gonna close back up this now. I'm gonna go on my DSN server, Super Factory. I'm gonna go on my forward lookup, superlab.com. You can see Win7PC, and you're gonna see my IP address, which is 192.168.0.10. Okay, alright, remember this. And I'm gonna right click on this, properties, update associate pointer PTR record. Click on that, apply, OK. So now I'm gonna go on my reverse lookup. Right, I'm gonna go on my reverse lookup. I'm gonna refresh this. Right, and you're gonna see my IP address, which is 192.168.0.10 on my reverse lookup with Kevin win7pc.superlab.com. Right, so basically that was DHCP installation for you. I hope you learned a lot, and thank you for viewing my tutorial.